Okay, this is Lucas No here, and this is my evaluation for my task 3 of my final major project. Now, what this evaluation is going to be explaining is what I did through task 1, 2 and 3, the process of doing it, what I used, and the goods and the bads. So just bear with me for a moment. This is the first time I've ever done a evaluation of of like a project. So to begin with, I'm going to start with my task 1, which was let me just get it up here. Task 1 was digital graphics, if I remember correctly. If I just double check it. So let me go back to my main page. Oh, I had to log back in. Let me log just back in. So that is the FMP practical skills for computer animation, I believe. Computer graphics. So if I remember correctly, task 1 was creating a digital graphics, 2D digital graphics, which I have done, as I have up on my Moodle blog, which what I was working on was a digital graphic of a wind turbine, which I was going to bring into Adobe After Effects, which will come into task 2, which I have done, but that will be for another time. I will talk about that in a minute. Right now I just want to talk about task 1. So what I did for task 1 was I used Adobe Photoshop CS6. I've got the CS6 Master Suite. I don't have the CC version, so it's one of the reasons why most of the time I do my work at home rather than at the university or college, because they use CC, and the last thing I want to do is work on a project where I can't go back, if you know what I mean, like from CC can be backwards compatible with CS6. I'm not sure if that is actually possible, so that's why I'm not taking that chance really, because it could completely mess up everything. I know CC's got more features and it's better than CS6, but I don't think it's overly that important. As long as I can do the work, I'm happy with that. I also with task 1, what I worked through was mainly just a simple shape tools to make like the kind of oval shape for the heel in my digital graphics. I also used the brush tools, and I changed the brush setup or preset to like the grass effect, so I can make the grass across the hill. When it came to the turbine, I actually used the brush tool, standard brush tool. It was either that or I used the pencil tool. Yeah, I used the pencil tool to make the strokes, if I remember correctly. I would have to look back on my video, but it was either the pencil tool or the brush tool where I used to make a basic stroke, so I know my area where I'm working in. I also, so mainly it was made up of shapes and brushes overall. I did use some effects in Photoshop as well to get a certain look. I also did add the layers and certain pieces of like the wind turbine into a group folder. This way means that I have my workspace in Photoshop organized, so I know where my pieces are and it's not all cluttered all over the place, so it's hard to find everything, so I don't have to keep scrolling through all the layers of the on the right hand side of my Photoshop place. I mean, most of the time it depends on people's preferences. Sometimes people have their layers set up or workspace on the left hand side of their program. Sometimes they just leave it where it is, because you can move these certain windows in Photoshop around to your personal preferences. I leave it where it is. So when it comes to task one's pro and cons, I think the pros for it is that the working process is all there. It's all up on YouTube as well. It's all video documented, so everything that you see in it, everything that you see in that video is my work in progress for task one, all the way up to the final rendition or composition. So all the work is there. I put it up on YouTube because I know that's a safe space to put something for a backup, as well as being on my OneDrive, or my Google Drive. I also put it up on, well, besides YouTube, it's also got on my USB drive, as well as on my actual computer itself. So I got in various places, so all my work for this project is everywhere. It's even up on my Moodle blog as well, so I also got back up there. The cons of this, however, well, before I go to the cons, actually, another pro is the fact that it is a video as well. I believe that is justifiable evidence of the work in progress and my build up to things. You can see all the problems I went through. You can see all the things I went through because I was recording it. So you can, everything that was done is what you see. Everything that I was saying in the video is in real time as well. So as I was saying something, I was doing it at the same time. So I believe that is justifiable evidence of my work in progress, which can be used for the evaluation. But the evidence is all there. This is more of just a talking about the work. I get so many messages on Skype right now. It's amazing. Also, the cons, however, is that I don't use so much subject terminology. And when I mean subject terminology, I mean all the industry words that you use, like keyframing, pose to pose, squash and stretch when it comes to principles of animation and things like that. Or when it comes to Photoshop stuff, I don't really use the words like composition or rendition or resolution, DPI and stuff like that. I don't really use so much of these things because I'm trying to dumb it down for people who want to get into the industry, but they don't understand what certain words are. So I generally do talk like a normal person, but sometimes in certain videos, which I probably have made in other videos, is that I have mentioned some subject terminology. I have mentioned some subject terminology in the videos as well. So I believe that's a good thing. There isn't not really any issue with the video of task one. I think the two parts are fine because I review my videos all the time when I record them. I always review, I always watch through it all to make sure that everything's all there and there's no issues and things like that. So for task one, the work is up on my Moodle blog, and the actual video work is up on YouTube. I will actually make all of this and join them in and link them in into Microsoft Word, where I use something called Libre, or Libre, whatever you want to call it, Office, and I use Libre Writer, so which is kind of like a free version of Microsoft Word in a way. So I can just put all my work in there and then send it to the tutors that needs it, because I'm actually behind schedule, which is one of the reasons why I was making these video recordings as well, because of the time constraints that I'm having because of family issues and other issues of things, personal issues and stuff like that. So there is a lot of work to do. For task 2, For task 2 was the 2D animation segment, which I had to demonstrate 2D animation skills and the work in progress. Again, just like in hold on, let me just quickly type this. Yeah, again, just like with task 1, I worked on the oops, sorry about that. I did the same thing with task 1. I recorded the work in progress. I went through all the process of the animation stuff. I did keyframes. I did certain things. It's mainly of rotations, and also used a bit of typography as well. When I say I use a bit of typography, I mean that I use the opacity setting for the text, as well as the position of the text, in order to have it in certain ways. Originally, at the end of the 2D animation, I didn't really plan on using the an advertisement like Seven Corporation or things like that. It is a completely fictional corporation, just to let you know. So it's not like copyright or anything like that. Hopefully not yet. But I didn't really plan that. It was only when I was working halfway through my work, I was thinking, maybe I can make it look better if I had it like at some sort of corporation. Kind of like when you have Resident Evil game series or the movie series, you have like the Umbrella Corporation, who pretty much rules everything in the world. I'm not saying that they do, but it's something like what I wanted to put in my kind of 2D animation, is this kind of corporate kind of advertisement calling for a greener world, but they ain't really doing much to help the world, if you know what I mean. It's all was meant to be relating to a video game project that I am working on, which Seven Corporation is a green clean energy corporation and things like that. But for this production, I kind of moved away from the original idea, admittedly. So because I wanted it's mainly because of the time, really. I mean, if I had more time, I could have done it the way I wanted to make it. But for the 2D animation, I did do mainly the animation. Yeah, more of the rotating of the twin blades, the turbine blades, and things like that. Which, when I mentioned about the group folder, my hair's a mess at the moment, I apologise. But when I mentioned about the grouping in Photoshop, it what that does, it makes that group folder in Photoshop as like a separate composition for when it's being used in After Effects. So it allows you to keep the look that you got from Photoshop, because it's all being put in a composition, it's all there, it's all rendered, and you can't change. That's one thing that I actually did have an issue when I did first import my Photoshop work into After Effects, when I realised that the sky, the background sky, did not look the same as it did in my 2D digital graphics. But that is because I didn't have the sky in a group folder. But the turbine pieces I put in a group folder, you know, just because having too much of it would have cluttered it, so I put it all together. And that really came to an advantage. It also came to an advantage that, but also when it came to the animation and with this conversation, means that when I animate the wind turbine blades in the composition, that means that I can actually move the composition around in After Effects in the official composition, where everything's all is, where the final composition is, and it won't change how the animation inside the wind turbine's composition acts. which was helpful because that means that I could duplicate that turbine composition and place more in, and it's still doing the same thing with no issues and no problems. So that was very handy. For the typography, I just used the basic text, really, just simple text, because I didn't really want to overcomplicate it, because I'm thinking it's an advertisement. It's not really so much to be so you know, so amazingly overcomplicated. It should, for an advertisement, it should be basic, it should be simple, clear to read, clear to understand, and it has to have a look that is appealing. And I think I personally think, it's an opinion, it's subjective, that I captured that kind of vision of an advertisement for this. Even though it's a fictional advertisement, I still think that I captured a good principle for advertisement. It looks family friendly, it's clear, it's got moving images, it's got typography, so it's got bright colours, so it catches the appearance for any target audience that I could have chose. So when it comes to the pros and cons of Task 2 of the final major project, I would say that the animation is mainly the animation. The bringing in the group folders from Photoshop to make the composition, I think that is a pro move. That was a very handy move. Also, again, just like with Task 1, it's video evidence, so all the work in progress is all there. And but it is mainly how the transitioning of my Photoshop file into Adobe After Effects, and it still keeps its look, and that I think is a pro move. It's quite a good use. When it comes to the con side, again, I guess it still comes down to subject terminology, but as I said earlier, I'm not really a big fan of this subject terminology. Honestly, me personally, I'm not really a big fan on this industry standard things anyway, because, well, everything's all personal preferences. I mean, it is important to learn these tools and these software and these programs and these what you use in them if you were getting a job in the industry. But me personally don't really see it as a big deal for when it comes to personal use. When it comes to personal use, or when I come to my own productions and things like that, I'm not really so bothered with things like subject terminology. I mean, it's like when I do my YouTube tutorials in something like Blender, or if I wanted to do like Photoshop tutorials and things like that, I wouldn't really use so much of subject terminology. I know the subject terminologies, don't get me wrong, I know them, but I don't use them because I'm not trying to play out as I guess I'm trying to relate to ordinary people. So the cons, I guess, for Task 1 and 2 is mainly the subject terminology. I guess the animation is too basic as well, but at the same time, when it comes to trying to capture a certain appearance or style, I think it works out great. So I guess that is also it's a mix of a pro and con, if you know what I mean. Task 3 was a 3D. Yeah, it's a 3D. Yeah, 3D animation. 3D animation. Now, 3D animation is obviously working with 3D animation. It does not specify that I had to record all the 3D modeling. It didn't specify if I could use my own models or existing models that you get from like free model sharing websites and things like that. I use my own models. I rarely use other people's models for anything unless I am unless I have to get something in a hurry. But 9 times out of 10, or majority of the time, I always use my own models. So the 3D animation, yeah, the 3D animation side of things, I demonstrated, which is in the free video part that is up on YouTube as well. I also got it up on my Moodle blog, and I demonstrated things like using the graph editor to change the interpolation and the extrapolation. I mean, the interpolation allows me to change my oh, hold on, I got a bit of burp coming. Oh dear. Yeah, the interpolation allowed me to change certain things like the street lamp in the animation. The street lamp I had changed from constant, yeah, from constant to linear. I could have changed it to Bezier, but the thing with constant and Bezier is they have the slow in, slow out animation principle. But I'm not thinking it's a flickering light. That seems like a linear kind of animation process. It was more of not so much of just animating movement and things like that, like the camera movements, which I used a modifier, which I managed to add in through the graph editor, which allowed me to get a shaky camera effect. And the shaky camera effect, I think, is very effective because it gives it a little more authenticity, especially if you had like an ultra real render. I did rule out in Blender that I won't be using cycles. The reason I weren't using cycles render was because of the time constraints. It would take too long in comparison to Blender's internal render, on my computer anyway, to render out. And I wanted to get something out, I wanted to get it done as quick as possible. Which was also the other reason why I changed the resolution from 1920 by 1080 to 1280 by 720. The frame rate is on 25 frames per second. Now the reason I gave these settings, not so much as to try and improve the render time, but also to match the resolution and frame rate of my digital camera that I already have, which is actually back over that side. Actually, it's like literally over there, up where my tripod is. It shoots at 1280 by 720 resolution and 25 frames per second. So that is one of the reasons why why I also set up my resolution, not just to improve the render time, but just to basically match it to my camera. And I think that also plays well with the authentic camera, or authentic shaky camera effect. It makes it a little more authentic, so it's like I'm holding my camera and like actually like filming the area. But I also demonstrated, besides animating an object, which in the circumstances was a camera, I also animated or manipulated a material to make it emit, like emissive, or known as emission, depending on how you want to really call it. So which was the street lamp, you know, where it's like blinking and flickering in the video and yada yada yada. I basically animated the material, kind of like same in Autodesk Maya. If you want to like just animate a scaling of an object, you can just pretty much right click on the up in the attribute editor, you can just right click on the scale section and insert or add a keyframe there. So something similar with within Blender, but I did it with the material, where I got the material color, which I didn't change, but instead I actually had the emission strength, the strength of the emission of the object. So when it's on 1, it means it's lit up. When it's on 0, that means it's turned off. So I basically animated that value of the emission strength, or the strength of the emission, by pressing the I key, which is the insert keyframe key in Blender, and I choose the it varies depending on the things, on what you're doing. I mean, if you're just using it for keyframing in the timeline or with the object, then you have to select an option of different keyframe menus. But when it's just like a value in the property or the attribute, if depending on what software you're using, then you just press the I key in Blender and it should automatically put a keyframe on that value. So I also brought in the 2D animation into task 3, which is for the billboard. So the billboard is all animated, which is good. And everything, and I think I did capture very important animation methods in the task 3. I would say oh, the pros and cons for the pros and cons for task 3. I think the pros is that I actually captured many aspects of animation in 3D. I mean, I animated the camera, I animated the spotlight, I even had a 2D animated billboard. Animated a billboard. Had an animated billboard. I also animated materials, so it flickers, as well as animating light values as well. So when the actual street lamp goes off, the actual lights themselves that it casts turn off as well. So I think I captured many principles. I also gave that street lamp a cyclic, which is something that you get in Maya as well, where it pretty much just loops the animation over and over, so you don't have to keep going through every single frame and keyframing it on and off all the time. Instead, you can just get the certain frames that you want it, then you go into the graph editor, and then you can just loop it by making a cyclic, which is the term that is used in Blender, that is graph editor, that is. When it came to shaky camera effect, I had to use a noise effect, well, a noise modifier in the graph editor, so the camera shakes a bit. It's all just tweaking and adjusting to try and get it as real as possible. So I think those are the pros that I've got with my task 3. I'd say the cons, I'd say, would be that the first episode, or the first part of task 3, the audio did not record, and that did annoy me. But I couldn't show. I didn't want to show it because I'm trying to keep everything all professional. And if I was like get out of that professionalism, then it's not really going to look good when I get completely annoyed and things like that. And I think it'd be unfair for any viewer who watches my videos. But at least there's evidence there that the 3D animation is done. Again, that's the other pro thing about all my tasks that I did, task 1, 2 and 3, is that they're all recorded, they're all documented, they're all up on YouTube now, so they ain't going anywhere anytime soon. They're also up on my Moodle blogs as well, again, so there's somewhere else. It's all on my hard drive, on my USB drive. It's pretty much everywhere. It's all backed up and everything. Those are my pros, so I ain't gonna lose it. But again, just like the con side is mainly was the audio of the videos, even the ones where my voice is in. It was quite buggy, but I believe this was down to the fact that I had so many window tabs open, like I do right now actually, because I had to like find all my evidence, my videos and all that stuff. But Also, another con is that the lighting in the actual final is a little dark, but the bridge which the train goes over, even though the train's not actually physically there, all you see is the halo lights on the spotlight or the photometric light. Depending on what software you use, they have different terminologies for the names of things. But I think that train bridge was a little too dark, but I gave it a reflective surfaces, like, well, partially reflective, so you can slightly see it, so you know it's something there when you can see like certain lights on it. But something that also brings me to saying else with the Pro was that I gave it audio. And the audio that I did for it literally was virtually just my voice. No no like open source files or free sounds and things like that. It was mainly things like my passport, which I was just like that, simple. Also making certain noises as well with my voice, to like getting the bussing noise, and as well as the train going over you, where you hear that kind of whooshing sound and things like that. That was all done through my voice, which I recorded using Audacity, and then I brought it into Adobe Audition, which there I tweaked it, changed the sound slightly, just to make them sound completely different. Well, they're not completely different, it's still pretty much the same sound, but it's just more of you know, basically just trying to make it sound like what it's meant to be. The music was actually done through Magic's Music Maker Premium Pro, but I used like a keyboard, like an actual keyboard, instrument keyboard, to actually play the tunes, and I had a Magic's Music Maker Pro basically record it. I had it record it, so that's how I got the music in as well. So it's all done pretty much by me. I didn't use any work or audio sounds and models or anything like that from anywhere. It was all made from scratch by me. You won't see the audition process, sadly, or how I made it, but I do have a screenshot of my work in all that in Audition, which I put up on my Moodle blog. But basically, everything in it is all made from scratch, pretty much. I did not use any outside source or any third-party sources or anything like that to make what I made. It was all made by me, as the videos would actually explain. Primarily, like in task 1 and task 2, with that video evidence, you can see that it was all made from scratch, from nothing, and I basically brought it in, well, built it up from there. And that now goes to my next task, which is basically task 4, which is the production process, which says that you should demonstrate your production process on your blog, recording and giving evidence for all your decisions you made throughout this assignment, breaking down each stage of your work through analysis and evaluation. That is basically what this video is. It is breaking down the certain processes that I did, and this is basically my evaluation of my work. And right now it's been about 34 minutes, but that's because I can talk faster than I type, basically. I mean, I generally am better at talking than I am at typing or writing. It's not that I can't write, I can write, but I'm just not very good at explaining what I think or say when it comes to typing it down. I can't type what I think, basically. I had to try, and when I do type, it's more like trying to stick within the guidelines of what they're expecting me, instead of me speaking freely about what I did. And I find it more easier to do recordings. I find it easier to do recordings. The reason I justify the recording of my videos for all the tasks, including task 4, which is this task, is because it's easy, it's more convenient for me, it's easier for me. I've got the software and the hardware to do it. Like I've got my microphone there, I've got my camera there. um, Basically, it's and I think it's more convenient for someone like me because I like to talk more than actually typing more. I guess it also comes down with the fact of my YouTube channel where I'm doing tutorials and things like that, but I also did in the past gameplay footage on my other channels. But I'm focusing on this new channel that I've got, which is my studio channel, and that's mainly all about demonstration, tutorials, and pretty much talking. It's like a commentary kind of thing. So I talk more than I actually type. It's also because I did do briefly a radio podcast at college with Miskin Radio. So I talk more on so I basically am the kind of person that talks. I'm a chatterbox. When I talk, I don't shut up. As you pretty much notice, I've been here talking for about 36 minutes, and and it's just been non-stop. I'm surprised I've got breath still. um, so that's basically the reason why I feel that I justified my reason for making videos for these tasks. It's because it's convenient, all the work in progress is there, the evidence is all there. So you can always look back at it, it's not going to change. Once something's recorded, you can't really change it unless you like cut pieces out. But even on YouTube, I did mention that I was going to like edit these videos, but due to time, I feel like I might as well just upload the raw footage, like the original footage. It's no cuts, no edits, no nothing. So all the evidence is there. There's nothing taken out of it, nothing at all. It's all there. There's no secret or hidden things, nothing like hiding away anywhere. It's all there in front of you in pure video evidence, as well as the Moodle blog with the videos as well. I will actually reassess how I do it. Like as I said earlier, that all my work I'm going to put into like a Microsoft Word file document, like format, and I'm going to send those off to my tutor, and it's going to have all the links and all the information I've written in my Moodle blog is going to be there. All the links to my YouTube videos relating to this topic or this task is also going to be in there. So, and this evaluation is also going to be up on YouTube, and that's also going to be in sent as well. The link to my evaluation. I'm going to put it in my task. I'm actually going to put it in my task 3, my task 3 blog actually, to make it more convenient, so I don't have to basically just send an empty Word file with just a link to a YouTube video. Ooh, nearly knocked my camera off. So, the pros and cons of all of this altogether is the pros is everything's all there, all the evidence is there, it's all documented, it's all backed up, it's all in various places. The only cons is that there are some videos where I had to cut short, some videos where I did move away from it because of other issues. For example, my cat that didn't shut up, but he's adorable, so I can't really blame him for that. But other things like with the audio issues in my last part of my project, which was a letdown, admittingly, that was a letdown, but as long as the video's there, as long as you can see what I'm doing, and as long as you, even if my voice is a little buggy, you can hear certain things I'm saying. I also got the blog as well up on my Moodle, and because I'm going to send it as a Word document as well to the tutors, that means that it's pretty much sums it all up. But pretty much the only cons was some of the things where I had to move away, and the fact that I had to make so many parts for each video because it was just ridiculous. Because all the things I had to do and things like that, it was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. It's one of the reasons why a lot of my work on this project is done, at home. As you can see, this is not a actual studio. This is just my room. But the reason I did my work here is because I've got all the software I need to do. I've got all the hardware, like the camera and the microphone, the tripod behind me, like the show there. I also got a camera back there. I've got a scanner for things like for saying like cell animation, which I also uploaded a video as well of that for another task, which like my cell animation, also stop motion animation and all that stuff. I've got all the equipment I need for doing these tasks and all the things. The college and university does have these facilities for me, but I think the only issue is they ain't got the so much as all the software I've got. For example, they don't have the webcam I've got, so I can't exactly make these recordings at college if they ain't got the tools there for me to do it. Especially if it's a lab environment, I like to be in a more silent, enclosed environment because that's how I like working. Also, they do have very high quality microphones because they ain't got actual radio booths for actual radio presenting, because they do host their own radio shows at the university and the college. So they've got the recording stuff for like the audio, but they don't have the screen capture I've got. They do have a screen capture, but whether it can actually record audio as well, that's the other issue. I can't exactly just. The only way I could actually mix it all together with the sound is if I went to the audio booth or the studio room and record my voice there, like a commentary. But I like doing screen capture where you can actually hear my voice, so you know that everything I'm doing in that video is there. So the voice is not added in afterwards, it's there in real time. So when I make a mistake, I can say I made a mistake and it's there in real time, so nothing's missed out. As I said, there's no editing, no trickery, anything like that. I think that's one of the things that I think that the college hasn't really got the facility for so much, especially for the things that I do. I mean, I do recordings all the time, so it's pretty much necessary for me to have this equipment in order to do this stuff. So I believe I covered everything in this for this evaluation. It's been pretty much about 43 minutes now, so I guess I will call this evaluation done. So I talked about the task 1, task 2 and task 3, why I did what I did. Even though it's kind of blanded or anything like that, I apologise if I didn't really make much sense. But the only thing I can say is that just watch the demonstration videos. Watch the videos that I made, really. That's all the evidence there you need, because it's all there. I'm uploading this video onto YouTube as well. And in the description, I will put all the links to every task that was done. All the links. So you can go and look at them in your own time and when you get in your own time, pretty much. So I'm not hiding anything. It's all there. It's ready to be. It's just there. It's all ready. All the evidence is right there. So thank you for watching. I apologise it's been going on for almost 45 minutes, but it's because it's an evaluation. I had to go through every single piece of it. Every single piece. So again, thank you for watching. I'm Lucas No, and I will see you all later.